up, everyone? Welcome to the Real Hero Show. Nick here with you, and in today's episode I will be covering actually last week's episode 7 of C on season 2. I've had some catching up to do with the content and videos and movies and personal stuff, so here we are, even though the finale is tomorrow or later tonight, and I will be posting that earlier. But if you haven't seen any other reviews or just want to hear what I had to say, then I will be posting a full spoiler review in this episode. So if you're new here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Really appreciate all the new comers to the channel. We really appreciate it, and we're going to keep on moving here towards that goal of 1,000. So I'm going to break up this episode into a couple different parts here. One is with Queen Cain, Sabbath, which we'll talk about right now. Of course, the way it works after a delegation that's gone wrong, it doesn't usually work well. And as we see here in this episode of C, they finally come forward, and as Queen Cain says, war is the only path forward. Magras says that the Witchfinders won't fight for her. Sabbath says, "Oh, I'm mistaken. I control everyone." And then all of a sudden, Tamakti June, the man himself, comes forth and says, "No." And the look on Sabbath's face when she just was like, "I know that voice. Thought you were dead. JK." He spills the truth. The truth finally comes out about Kanzua in front of the whole council and the crowd there. About her murdering her own people, the families that she tried to murder him, Tamakti June, right? And then Magra backs him up. She stands up for the truth and what's right. And then, of course, Lord Harlan backs them up as well. So it's literally everyone versus Queen Cain. And Tamakti's about to take that sword of his that's got jagged edges on it, which looks pretty gnarly. Is about to just go right for her head, and then Paris says, "No, don't. She's with child." Yeah. So at this point, I'm going to propose a question. Do you think Tamakti should have just gone forward with it anyway and said, "Oh, well, we can give birth to other sighted children. We already had 2 sighted children in the crowd, Kofun and Haniwa." Right? If they want to reproduce with other people and form other sighted babies, then they could do that without the Queen Cain being there. So my question is, do you think she should have been spared like she was? Or do you think they should have just gone on with or off with their head rather? So leave your comments below on that. And of course, I'm going to fast forward just a little bit through this episode, still talking about Sabbath here, but we see Kofun finally confront her, right? He's upset that she used him. He asks if the baby is his. It's kind of real life. Like, yo, is that? Am I the baby daddy? Is it mine? Yes, it's yours, you idiot. Oh gosh, the naivety. And at one point, she tries to play him again, and he pushes her, and and she's like, "Go ahead. Here's a rope. Just kill me." Puts it over around her neck, and he starts to, and I'm like, he ain't gonna do it. He's not gonna do it. I mean, of course, they're not gonna let that be the end of a character like Sabbath. So, again, we kind of knew what was going to happen there. And then she leaves, and she's kind of obviously at this point we already know she's a bit of a psycho. But I kind of thought it was kind of funny when he's leaving and he kind of can't breathe as to almost with what happened, and she just yells out, "Pardon my French, but be a fucking man and tell them it's yours." I don't know if he will. What do you guys think? Do you think that Kofun will be like, "Yeah, it's mine," and he might get a slap from his mother and father, and sister? And for a second, you think that he might tell his sister when they're kind of at the fire when they're marching to Greenhill Gap. But he doesn't, because he's still sort of letting it, fester in his head. But on to the biggest part of this episode here, where it's the part of the looming battle that is going to take place in the finale here. We hear that Woodvale has fallen to the Travantians, obviously being led by Ito, Voss, and Ren. And another thing that I kind of thought at that moment was Ito says he'll protect Ren from the council because obviously, she can see. She says to Ito, "Don't tell them about me." But what will happen if they find out? Do you think that they'll take it lightly, or do you think they'll actually kind of cause a bit of a ruckus? Because we know that she's not the only sighted person in the Travantian city or army. So I am kind of curious to see what happens if he can't protect her. Will she leave and go to Haniwa or whatever's left of the Pyans, or will Ito kind of be under some scrutiny there for not being able to protect her, or hiding that secret rather? Ito makes a deal with a man. It seems like a bad man. Of course, we don't get a name because Ren asks for a name, and he says, you don't want to find out. Of course, after Woodvale has fallen, there's about 5 to 6 days until the Travantian army, or battalion rather, gets to Pensa. So Greenhill Gap is the place that they make their stand. There's a bit of a conversation with Magra and Baba Voss about their children. I think Magra made the right choice in terms of the conversation and the facts about, look, they're not kids anymore. They can make their own choices and they have their own opinions about it. But again, they can still sort of listen to their parents, right? As all of us still do, with their own folks, even as being adults. Although I will say, for the sake of the queen, well, Magra now, she did try to prevent the war, right? But she had no choice but to win it now. And Bubba says you can't win it. It's kind of a low blow, to your wife, to the mother of your children, to the now queen. Although I kind of felt bad for her too, where she wakes up in the middle of the night, Bubba Voss isn't there. She checks where the kids are, and she can detect or sense that he's there, and sort of obviously hear him breathing as Baba is sleeping on the floor next to his kids. And I'm sure that's what fathers do for their kids, and and fall asleep with them. And it's comforting, and it just shows the love that he has for his family and for his kids. But even though later on in this episode, towards the end, we see that what Magra said to him earlier on in the episode struck a chord, because the thought of trying to use the last possible attempts to prevent the war with having Haniwa go to Ren and say, look, things are different now, which I'll come back and touch on in just a moment. He lets Haniwa go to the middle of the battlefield and for that attempt. There was a couple of good conversations in this episode, especially between Tamakti and Magra, about Magra wanted to go to the battlefield, right? And Tamakti says no. Granted, sure, you're a mother and a queen. The mother part is the sentimental aspect. A queen must be practical, and it makes sense, right? And so she stays behind. And then another conversation between Tamakti and Baba about being soldiers and the war, and it's gonna be hard to win if it can be won at all. And then I just want to point out that Jason Momoa, Baba Voss, looking like a straight samurai there with that armor that he found. And I'm really excited to see some of the sword work that's done. And obviously it's going to be a pretty gruesome battle. Lots of bloodshed, I'm sure. So, we'll see how that goes. And of course, before they march off, there's a great speech, a pretty good speech, I'd say, led by Magra. And she wants to kind of get towards the statue, which, people probably know it's there, but can't really, see it. But I like the fact that she tells the truth, right? That she's scared. They're all scared. That she's terrified. There's the bigger army, the tougher army to fight. That she's a mother, she's a wife. There's a lot that she has to lose, and that everyone has to lose there. And And then comes the part where she talks about comfort. She offers comfort to the Paya people, right? They refuse to let anyone else step on their soil where their ancestors have lived. And again, I think the music behind it really made it pretty powerful and moving. And already, I think she's done a better job than sabbath has at day one and being queen. So hopefully it's not short-lived. And of course, there's a moment in the episode where you kind of think it might be. But again, to kill Magra at this point in the season and in the series might just be a bit premature. Paris and Toad go on a little venture. Don't know where to yet. And they decide to make camp for the night. And my boy Toad makes a move. He says he'll be a gentleman. Come over here. It'll be warmer. She agrees. She goes, I wouldn't go over there if you weren't a gentleman. They start kissing. I was like, yo, okay, a little fling there. All right. I kind of sensed something, but okay. Although it was short-lived. Because he hears some trespassers, or rather just some sneakers, some people kind of eavesdropping on the little kiss session there. Don't know who it is. I'm not sure if it's maybe some Travantian scouts, or maybe it's someone else from another village. Could it be other assassins? I don't know. And right before that, right, Baba Voss asked Paris to do something for him. I'm not quite sure what it is, but that could also be why she decided to take this little venture. Perhaps Baba Voss asked Paris to go on this route. Maybe it's a secret, not necessarily a secret, but just maybe it's a different path to possibly get more forces. Don't know. I guess we'll find out. If on the battlefield Baba Voss and Ido Voss fight, who do you think will win? Moreover, who do you think will win between this fight between the two, between the Travantians and the Payans? I mean, obviously we're looking at the numbers here. It's 350 from the Travantians to 160, Payans, and obviously we're looking at quite the disadvantage here. But there's a catch. Yes, Greenhill Gap is designed for outmatched fights, and I got a bit of a Helm's Deep-esque vibe. Obviously, the numbers are completely different, and Helm's Deep is extremely more fortified and larger than Greenhill Gap, but I feel like it has that same sort of that feel, that vibe to it, that design where, the few can withstand the many. Whereas in Lord of the Rings, Two Towers, Helm's Deep, there were only several hundred troops that had to deal with 10,000 Uruk-hais from Isengard, right? Until reinforcements arrived, days later. So again, it's going to be an interesting fight, interesting battle for the finale. But of course, as I'm sure other people predicted as myself, that the final episode would be a grand old fight and fashion battle. And I think there's going to be some other sad moments. Of course, right towards the end of this episode, we see in Pensa, assassins come for Magra. I mean, you kind of know that they're going to be there for her. They, slice the necks of the two guards out front. Magra hears something, and obviously the two assassins kill more guards on the way up. Luckily, she kills one of them, and the other one, the bigger one, kind of starts tossing around like a rag doll. Luckily, Harlan to the rescue, he's kind of get thrown like a rag doll as well, because he's not a really big dude. And then he gets stabbed in the gut by one of the fireplace pokers. Can't think of the actual name for it, but you know what I'm referring to. And just as he gets stabbed, Magra comes and dives at the guy. But that doesn't go too, or it's looking like it's not going too well, until she finds something and then stabs the dude in the eye. Oh, the irony. Get it? Double irony? Wow. Okay. I'm going to start doing puns. And then he dies. And of course, Harlan's still trying to be funny about saying, don't stay with me. And he's like, I thought you'd never ask. I like Harlan. It would be a shame if he died, Man just wants his castle back and to serve a queen that doesn't want to dick him over. So do you think Harlan is going to die? I don't know what the medical team is like there in Pensa, if they'll be able to save him. He'll definitely be immobile and probably won't be able to do much after this point. Who do you think sent the assassins? My guess is obviously it could be two options. Number one, it could be sent from the Travantians that were spies that were able to infiltrate successfully, or they were people from Sabbath, Queen Cain, or no longer Queen Cain, but people that are still loyal to her, the same assassins, or maybe from the same assassin group that went to the delegation and murdered the Travantians there. And that she probably sent out some sort of letter, code, some sort of message that said, hey, my sister Magras is going to be chilling in the room. You should go assassinate her during the night, because then that way I can, kind of take back the throne and lead someone. But I feel like the responsibility would probably just fall to Harlan, since he was the queen's husband. But we'll see. Again, I feel like towards the end, or right at the very end of the episode, haniwa, she tries to reason. Again, it's the last attempt to stop and prevent a war, a bloodbath, possibly the first of many between the Payans and the Travantians. And Ren could have done something. She could have said wait. She could have just at least try. It wouldn't hurt to try. Take the shot. With Ito. Even if there was something like, all right, we'll stop the war, but you and me, Baba, we're doing a 1v1 in the middle of the battlefield. Winner take all. That'll be my bloodshed. That'll be my that'll make up for the murderings of at the delegation. I feel like there could have been something else, right? But again, she says no, it's too late. Go, run away. Gives her the shield, and then we see the volley of arrows right behind her in the air, getting ready to rain down on the Pines on the field. So I imagine it's going to take place right at the start from where those arrows left off. And again, what do you think is going to happen? Who do you think is going to win? Do you think it's going to be very bloody? Because I do, and I hope no one major dies. I can't see Haniwa or Kofun dying. Obviously, I can't see Ito or Baba Voss dying. I hope Tamaki Jun doesn't die. I like the guy. I think his redemption arc isn't quite over just yet. So we'll see. And I don't think Ren's going to die either. So I think it just might be a lot of soldiers on both sides that unfortunately bite the dust there. So leave your comments below. Again, I'd be curious to see what everyone thinks about this. Are you hyped for the finale tomorrow or late tonight, which is where I'll probably stay up and watch it. So again, you'll get a full review on the finale of C Season 2. Until next time, I will see you guys and gals and everyone else, YouTube out there, on the next video. Peace out.